Before the video starts, I just want to inform you guys that YouTube has actually been setting my video quality to a lower setting. All you have to do to fix this is going up into the settings menu for the actual video itself and turning that resolution up to 1080p. After doing this, you'll then either have to refresh or reload the video and then the problem should be fixed. Now I know this is a bit of a pain in the bum, this is the only way to sort it out at the moment and I'm very sorry. With all that said, let's get right into the video. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over top 5 things you should expect from Black Mirror Labyrinth coming to Thorpe Park Resort in the 2020 season. So if you guys do go on to enjoy the video, make sure to like, subscribe, anything that makes me know you guys like my content. We're going to try and hit 700 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you want to contribute to that, definitely feel free to subscribe. It would really help out the channel. So with all that said, let's get right into the video. Okay then, so the first thing to expect from this brand new attraction is actually a maze. Now obviously this term has been loosely thrown around quite a bit in the theme park community over the years. Obviously you have the scare mazes for places like Fright Night, Scarefest, things like that. However, they're not really mazes in the traditional sense. They're more walk-through linear experiences, obviously with the exception of some multi-route mazes. However, the main thing that did actually stick out to me when this attraction was first revealed was actually the name. Now obviously it is called Black Mirror Labyrinth, and obviously Labyrinth kind of means an irregular passageway or paths of passages. Now obviously there are many different ways they can go about doing this within the attraction itself. The first way is they could keep it more of a linear experience, however giving you the option to choose your pathway through the actual maze. Now obviously this has been done countless of times in Fright Nights. Obviously we've seen it in places like Big Top, a little bit in Living Nightmare, we've seen Creek Freak, Cabin. There's been loads of different implementations of this kind of multi-route elements, different attractions, which obviously means that it would be pretty easy to implement it in here. Now obviously the main reason why I'm saying this is because of throughput. Now if this is going to be a throughput attraction, obviously they're going to have to group people and send them through individually, and obviously if this was an actual kind of maze where you're kind of getting lost and having to find your way through it, that throughput wouldn't really work very well. You get a real kind of congestion of people, but however it does seem like it's going to be a throughput maze, so having this as kind of a linear experience with different multiple choices obviously creates a re-rideable ability to it, as well as obviously giving you the kind of mental state that you are within a maze. Now obviously the way they could do this is they could do the first room has 3 doorways, the next room you go into no matter what one you choose has a couple of doorways, and it kind of acts like that. Sometimes it could take quicker to get through the maze, and sometimes it could be a little bit shorter or longer. So obviously that's something that could be really cool if they implemented it in there, and I think it would really work well with the special effects as well, which is what we're just about to get into. Okay, so the second thing to expect from this brand new attraction is a more kind of heavily reliance on special effects. Now obviously within the announcement, obviously for the attraction itself, the description on the website does read cutting edge technology, kind of hypnotic maze and things like that. Obviously heavily relying on technology. Now there are many different kind of implications they could have in this, and there are many different pros and cons to them actually having a more special effects led experience. Now obviously the first thing they could use for this is obviously projection mapping. Now projection mapping is pretty much just projecting an image on something 3D within the actual real world. Obviously we've seen this quite a few times around different theme parks, especially within the Merlin Entertainment's group as well. Obviously we've got projection mapping within the Smiler queue line, not always working, but that will be something that we'll get onto in literally just a second. Obviously you can also use things like mirrors. There could be a mirror maze implication of it in here as well. Obviously you could also use like smoke. Obviously that sort of special effects would be kind of a given, but there are many different ways you can go about this. There could be projection just on normal like sheets to kind of experience ghosts, but it's very cryptic on how they're actually constructing this attraction, because they haven't really revealed too much about what is inside, which I think is a very good thing. Obviously it kind of builds up the mystery of the attraction and kind of leads to it being more mysterious. Now obviously the cons to this being a special effects led attraction obviously leads to them not maybe working. Now obviously this will be Thorpe Park's big attraction for this year, so at least this year I think they will mainly put their focuses on this attraction and keeping it running, and I hope it is something they actually do continue to do in the future, because obviously it is something that without the special effects might not be as good. Obviously we haven't experienced the attraction yet, so I could be completely wrong, but if this is going to be heavily reliant on special effects, they do need to try and keep this as much as possible. Like I said, the Smiler over Alton Towers, the projection mapping in there doesn't always work, but you've got to remember that is obviously not their main focus. Their main focus is to keep the ride running, and obviously that will be more of a focus within this, but instead of it being a ride, it will obviously be the special effects. Obviously there will be different various lighting in here as well. Obviously a lot of people are thinking that Fright Nights, when that comes around, there'll obviously be maybe an overlay for Fright Nights, maybe the red lights around there, maybe putting actors in there, and that is going to be the next thing I'm going to move on to. Okay, so the next thing to expect is kind of a little bit more debatable, and that is the potential addition of no actors. Now obviously obviously recently, with a lot of Thorpe Park's kind of new attractions, they've implemented actors within them as much as they can. Obviously with the Walking Dead ride, obviously that's the Walking Dead, so they obviously kind of had the zombie actors in there, which was obviously an easy thing to do, obviously because they've had many of the zombie actors beforehand, obviously in places like Fright Nights. However, with this looking like it's heavily relying on technology, I don't actually think we will be seeing actors within this maze. Now, obviously, when I say that, I don't mean actually inside. I mean we probably won't be seeing them throughout the whole thing. Now, obviously, there may be actors or staff members within a pre-show, if there even is a pre-show, and obviously maybe at the end of the attraction, but I don't think it's going to be an actor-led experience. Now, if you don't know what an actor-led experience is, they are pretty much what your Fright Nights mazes are. They're actor-led experiences because they're heavily reliant on actors. However, obviously, with this being heavily reliant on special effects, I think that will kind of swap the actors thing out, potentially having a couple of actors around the attraction, but certainly not as many as, like I said, something like The Walking Dead, the ride, or obviously a Fright Nights maze. Now, this is mainly due to cost. Obviously, it would, be extremely expensive to run special effects, as well as obviously paying kind of different actors, and obviously that's something that obviously has to be dealt with upcharge attractions. Obviously, the London dungeons and different things like that, even the Alton Towers dungeons in the Alton Towers, they had to be upcharge attractions due to the fact that obviously they had to run the special effects, they had to run and pay the actors, and it's something that they kind of had to balance in that way. But obviously with this being a brand new free attraction, obviously it's either going to be actors or special effects, and I think with this one they've taken special effects, which I'm quite happy about. I mean, I'm kind of obviously loving the whole kind of actor-led experiences. Obviously I love The Walking Dead, the ride. It's a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but obviously it is a breath of fresh air to see them kind of going for a different approach for this attraction and having it more reliant on special effects. Okay, so the fourth thing to expect from Black Mirror Labyrinth is more of a kind of contained story. Now, this has been kind of floating around quite a bit, and obviously a lot of you may already know this, but people who have reported on this before and have seen Black Mirror have said that it is actually an anthology series. If you don't know what an anthology series is, it's pretty much a series where the episodes aren't really connected, and they're pretty much just standalone stories throughout each episode. Now, obviously, this will lend itself well to a theme park IP, as a lot of people are kind of getting bothered by these IPs being kind of forced in your face, saying, oh look, this is apart from the show, this is apart from the show, things like that. However, with this IP, it does look they may be taking a very different approach. Now, obviously, with Black Mirror being an anthology series, it does look to be that this ride will then be a part of that anthology and kind of act upon its own. Now, obviously, this does look like it will be a very story-driven attraction. Obviously, even within the description of the ride, it seems very story-driven. It does say you've been invited to playtest the Labyrinth, so obviously it's kind of like an invitation from maybe like a corporate company that's kind of invited you to test this dangerous new kind of project they're working on, which is obviously a very, very cool storyline within itself, but reportedly from what I've heard, it isn't actually a Black Mirror story. Now, obviously, let me know down in the comments below whether or not it is, but obviously, yeah, it does look like it will be taking place standalone, which I'm very, very happy about, because when you experience things, much like obviously a lot of the Walking Dead mazes during Fright Nights, obviously you get a lot of scenes from the show. Even Jack Silverstone pointed out when he did his behind the scenes video through Do or Die, that obviously there are a lot of scenes from the show in this, and even then when you go in and see what the reactions of the staff are during that behind the scenes video, they did say they did want to put loads of different Easter eggs and put names on the floor of the staff that work there. It's kind of like a cool little like staff Easter egg. And they said they didn't really have the power to do that because, quote unquote, ABC said it didn't fit the show. Now, obviously with Black Mirror, this would be completely different. They'd be able to do whatever they want with this, obviously within certain guidelines, and it would kind of give a little bit more creative freedom to Thorpe Park to kind of make an attraction they really want to make and design an attraction out of the story that they've moulded kind of themselves. Now, obviously Black Mirror, Netflix behind it, will obviously have some kind of implication within the story, but it won't be as forceful, and they won't force these scenes into the show, obviously into the maze itself, because that's not really the direction the show goes in, which I think is a very, very good kind of way to utilise an IP, as it kind of almost solidifies you as a part of the series in a way that you're not reliving the series, but you are in a new episode. Okay, so the last thing to expect within Black Mirror Labyrinth is actually a little bit of a controversial one. Now, obviously, with Netflix being the owner of Black Mirror, and a lot of people have been fighting around saying that they're not because it's distributed into other kind of TV studios, they are the actual owners of Black Mirror. Obviously, that's why it's labelled as a Netflix original series. However, they have distributed Black Mirror across different kind of TV studios to kind of broaden their spectrum and kind of get as many people to subscribe to their subscription service as possible. Now, obviously, with Netflix being behind this, a deal would have had to be made with Netflix to obviously create this attraction. Now, we've seen many, these are types of agreements before. Obviously, the main kind of, example for this is of The Walking Dead. Obviously, a deal with AMC obviously had to be made for them, A, to make the Fright Nights mazes, and B, to make the brand new, obviously, The Walking Dead The Ride for 2018. Obviously, we saw this with Saw as well, which I'm going to be using Saw as quite a big example for this, as obviously Saw did start off as its own attraction. Obviously, Twisted Pictures and Lionsgate did team up with Thorpe Park to obviously make Saw the Ride, and a year later they then decided to kind of partner up again, and then obviously make another Saw attraction, which was Saw Alive. And then after that, they kind of made a deal with Lionsgate to make a broader kind of attraction spectrum for Fright Nights, which is obviously the legendary 2013 Fright Nights Lionsgate takeover. Now, a similar thing could potentially happen with this, and I've seen a lot of people, including Jack Silverstone, say stuff like this. Potentially, with this attraction, if it does well, which I'm hoping it does, obviously a lot of people are hoping it does well, could Netflix then approach Thorpe Park saying, look, this really went down very, very well. We want you to kind of utilise some of our IPs that haven't really been done before. Now, I'm not really jumping to things like Stranger Things, plainly because they've been done before in places like Universal. And I feel like if Netflix were to approach Thorpe Park, which obviously they may not, and it's kind of likely they won't, but if they did approach Thorpe Park, they would kind of want them to utilise some of their kind of original IPs that haven't really been dealt before. Now, obviously, leave your thoughts on what kind of shows you would like to see for Fright Nights if this was to happen. But I do think a Netflix takeover could be extremely cool. But, you know, at the end of the day, it could go the other way, and like I said, it may not happen. They may just leave it as it is, and they may just keep Black Mirror as their only kind of Netflix IP attraction. And like I said, it's not heavily a Netflix IP. I'm pretty sure they own the rights to it, but it is obviously distributed to other places. So there may be agreement issues with that. They may not have to kind of get in contact with Netflix for it. They might have to get in contact with someone else, but I'm not really, you know, educated on that side of things. I'm just sitting here on my, you know, bed reporting on this. But yeah, if that was to happen, I would love it. But like I said, it could go either way, really. Okay then, so that then concludes our top 5 things to expect from Black Mirror Labyrinth at Thorpe Park Resort. Now, obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys did go on to enjoy it, make sure to feel free to subscribe. Obviously, I'm trying to hit 700 subscribers by the end of this month, and it would really help me out if you did subscribe. Next video, we'll be starting another series. Now, I know I'm starting a lot of these series, obviously. Planet Coaster's on hold for the moment. Like I said, I'm waiting to get those expansion packs. You know, my Merlin Rewind series, that is still thriving, that is still up, that's still going to happen. However, I thought I'd dip my toes in and make a little bit of a different series for Friday that you will kind of, you know, find out. Which will kind of be going in place of Planet Coaster for the time being. If it does do well, I'll obviously implement it in as well. But as it stands at the moment, this will be taking place of Planet Coaster. So, without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video.